Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to bind the SLT3 radio. Well guys, before we get too much further, I just wanted to say thank you very much for stopping in and taking a look at another one of my videos. And if you do benefit from this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up and a subscription. That would really help me out. Now, just as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be binding up the SLT3 transmitter here. So of course, make sure that you have good batteries in this transmitter. If you have dead batteries, it may affect the ability for this radio to bind. Now, this radio is featured in a number of Arrma models as well as some of the other vehicles. So this process will be similar for all of those models. You'll also need a bind plug. This bind plug here is just looping the outside pins. This is what tells the receiver to go into bind mode. You'll also need some kind of a 2mm Allen wrench for the Arrma models. This is just a power driver tip. If you've watched my channel before, you may have seen this nifty little tool that DeWalt makes. This is a gyroscopic screwdriver. When you push the trigger down in this model, you'll notice nothing actually happens. The tool just buzzes. When you rotate the tool, that's when the tool will begin to respond to your inputs. So this is a very nice little tool to add to your toolkit. If you're going to use these, just be careful not to strip out screws. That's very, very important. Now the next thing we'll need is our vehicle with a freshly charged battery in it. Then we'll need to remove the 2 screws that hold down the speed controller. That will access the receiver box so we can actually get at our receiver. I'm going to go ahead and remove those 2 screws for you now. Now, as a pro tip for you, I do like to store my screws in the spots where they belong. This just makes things a whole lot easier for you to keep up with this hardware so that things don't get misplaced. Now, with our gear cover out of the way, we can see our receiver located in the bottom of this box here. There are 3 ports and the receiver is labeled for those ports. The lowest port is our bind plug, so that's where we're going to plug in our little bind connector. So with our bind plug plugged in, now we're going to plug in our battery and power on the system. The light on the receiver will begin blinking to indicate that it is in bind mode. You can see the light down on the bottom there. Now we'll very simply just power on our transmitter and the system will be bound up and be ready to use. We do need to make sure that we unplug our bind plug whenever we're done with this process. We don't want to rebind every time we power on the transmitter. And I do like to unplug our battery while we close up this box. Just as I said before, be careful tightening these screws with this power driver. So I always like to tighten by hand instead of using the power driver to avoid stripping out screws. And that's it. That's a very simple repair. Well guys, hopefully you can see how easy it is to bind the SLT3 radio. And if you benefited from this video in any way, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a subscription, and don't forget to hit that bell. I do mention this in all of my videos. If you're not hitting that bell, you're not getting notified when the new content goes up. So make sure you go back and do that for all of your subscriptions. Well, that'll wrap it up for today, and I hope to see you in the next one.